Hello, everyone, and welcome to a bonus episode of the Slash Filmcast. Today, I'm here with Devindra Hardawar and Jeff Kanata from 5x5's DLC to discuss The Raid 2, Barandal.
Cuma beberapa bulan. Kamu nggak boleh tahu aku ada di mana. Dan aku nggak boleh deket kamu.
Nah, kalau kita mau membersihkan kota ini dengan bersih, kita harus tangkap mereka. Nama-nama yang penting.
All right, guys. So, we were all huge fans of The Raid when it came out, yes? Jeff, you're a fan?
Of course, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, The Raid 2 Barandal is now in theaters, and, I was really looking forward to this movie. This is my most anticipated film of 2014.
It's all downhill from here for you, man.
I agree.
That's really sad.
I mean, that's how I feel about every single day of my life, Jeff. So,
Every step towards the end, basically.
I should point out that you can find more of our episodes at slashfilmcast.com. Email us at slashfilmcast@gmail.com. We've all seen this movie by this point. Jeff Kanata, what did you think of The Raid 2 Barandal?
Oh my goodness. It's awesome. It's super awesome. Little background. So I love The Raid. I went and we reviewed The Raid back when I was doing the Totally Rad show. And it was one of those movies that I was told we were reviewing. I knew nothing about it. I didn't even know it was an action movie. I had no idea what it was when I sat down for that movie, which honestly, I wish that experience on every person that's listening to this.
Well, you just spoiled that The Raid 1 was an action movie, Jeff.
No, I don't mean with that specific film, but a film that is that good, not knowing anything about it. I wish that experience it is such a magical experience when you have that. Anyway, but it hit me like a ton of bricks, as it probably would even if you knew what it was about, because it was so amazing. But what I loved most about The Raid, I think, is how it wastes no time. In most action films, you have this, 20 minutes to a half an hour of setup, of introducing our characters, yada, 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 before anything crazy happens. Not with The Raid. We are in it right away, and it is just balls to the wall, start to finish. Not so with The Raid 2. The Raid 2 is a much more ambitious movie in a lot of ways. It is grander in scope. We have a much more intricate plot.
Yeah, dozens of characters.
Dozens of characters, very at sometimes hard to follow specifics about the inner workings of this crime organization and characters double-crossing each other. And there's a lot of plot here. There's a lot of story. And I think it's so interesting that this is the sequel to The Raid, because The Raid, while it had a story, it really wasn't about that. It was just a pressure cooker of violence. You get these characters in one place, and who's going to survive? The Raid 2 is much more sprawling, interesting. It takes its time. There's a lot of setup here. And initially, I was worried. I was worried that was breaking the formula of what I loved about The Raid. I shouldn't have been worried, however, because what transpires, the ramping up of the action sequences, it's unbelievable that they managed to push the envelope to such a degree, even beyond what The Raid showed us, which was already crazy and over the top. This movie just brings it, and I did end up caring for the plot and the machinations of the enemies and the main character. I did end up investing in that, and it's a lot due to the fact that the action sequences are so great. They weren't just the sort of pornography that we often get of action movies where it's like, I don't care, filler, awesome, filler, awesome. They actually raised the stakes for what was really a pretty good story, I thought. Yeah. And my God, there's not enough I can say about what we witness. These are literally individuals hurting themselves for my entertainment. It is unbelievable what you watch happen in this movie. And there is a car chase that is one of the coolest car chases I've ever seen. There is numerous martial arts action sequences.
Hand-to-hand fight scenes or weapon-to-hand fight scenes, that are amazing.
To continue to top one another. And you see what you think is the most incredible action sequence halfway through the movie, and that is topped 3 or 4 more times. Just pure number of moves that you see, and just intense brutality. One of the things I like saying is that the Raid series is a movie that asks, why stab someone once when you can stab them 40 times? It is it's awesome. If you are even remotely a fan of violent action films, you owe it to yourself to see both of these films. But I don't even think the Raid 2 requires the Raid as viewing beforehand. It stands on its
own. It really doesn't. You don't need to see the Raid 1 to enjoy this.
There are some things, especially that very first opening.
Yeah, you'll appreciate it more, but I don't.
Well,
think
you will have no idea what's going on in that opening scene.
Yeah, that's true.
If you've never seen the first movie,
I saw the Raid 1, and I still felt like, oh my god, what's going on?
Yeah. They really drop you right in there.
Yeah.
So, Devindra Hardwar, your thoughts on the Raid 2?
So, I really loved most of this movie, but I do have to point out, this isn't a really perfect action movie. Like, I wanted this to be something on the level of like Hard Boiled or Drunken Fighter 2, Drunken Master 2 or something. And it doesn't quite reach those levels. And I will say, like, it really doubles down on what we loved about the first Raid, the really like crazy, brutal hand-to-hand fights, just the really creative action scenes. And I really love the fact that the scope of this kind of goes completely, it blows up. Like, this is, I don't know, like almost like the Godfather 2 version of the Raid, I guess, or the comparison. Like, it just opens up the world in so many ways and kind of takes it in ways that you wouldn't expect. But at the same time, I do feel like Gareth Evans could have benefited from a little bit of editing. I do think, like, I'm an action movie fan, and even I thought, like, there are some things in this movie that probably shouldn't have been action scenes, because by doing that, you actually dilute the attention span of the audience for the really great stuff. And a lot of that's at the end, and if you lose people's attention midway, that's kind of problematic. There are a lot of subplots and a lot of characters in this movie that don't really have much of a consequence to anything, but it is fun to watch. So I'll say, it's more Raid. It's Raid 2, Raidier. And I had a ton of fun with it. I just wish, so Gareth Evans did pretty much everything for this movie, right? He's the director, he wrote it, he also edited it, and I do think he could have benefited from a little help. And the thing is, like, apparently he cut out a whole chunk of stuff. There are action scenes that they shot that aren't even in this movie, because at that point he thought it was too much. And, this is a long movie. This movie is close to 2.5 hours long, mostly action. And I think editing would have helped the stronger elements of this film really shine, and wouldn't have really taken away much, and probably would have saved a couple bruises from the actors too. But it's a great action movie, great sequel. The things they put our main guy through, poor Iko Uwais, like, I just feel really bad for him, and we could talk about some of that in spoilers. Part of the movie feels like Gareth Evans just, like, throwing as much as he can against the wall, and I don't feel like he needs to, because with the first Raid and with his amazing VHS 2 segment, like, this guy has proven that he can make great things. But what was so great about VHS 2, his great cult movie segment, was that it was so short. He had to paint a really big picture really quickly. And this movie almost feels like he has as much as he wants. He can go for as long as he wants. He has a bigger budget, and he can throw everything in there. I think after a certain point, that kind of works against you.
I kind of agree with you, Devindra. First of all, we should say that his next movie, he's not working on the Raid 3 next. He's actually doing action direction for Timo Tjahjanto's newest film.
Nice.
So they actually co-directed that VHS segment together.
Yes.
So Timo is directing a new movie. Fan of the Filmcast, apparently, by the way, Timo.
Nice.
He's making a new film, and Gareth Evans is doing the action for that film. So Let me start by saying this. I love The Raid 2. I think it's an awesome movie. I was amazed that they were able to assemble this film. I mean, the movie is the movie is 2.5 hours long. We got to put that out there, and it did. Okay, so the action's amazing, right? And like, I actually a lot of the plot is actually pretty good. I found the sort of son's journey, right? The person who Iko needs to befriend. Like, I thought his, like, internal journey was actually pretty compelling.
Sure.
Like,
although we've seen this exact
we've seen it exactly right. Yeah. It's nothing new, but I thought it was fairly well done. I think here's where I like I have some issues with the film is everything you guys said is true. Everything, like actions, you've never seen action like you've seen it in this film before, and for that reason alone, you must go see it in theaters, right? But the issue, I think, is that The Raid 1, it was very clearly a genre piece. It was like, here's a really well-done action film. Some action, some martial arts, really well done. 90 minutes long, tight and confined, very effective, right?
You took issue when I called it tight last time, but okay.
Yeah, that's right.
It's tight, especially compared to this movie.
Well, that's right.
Compared to this movie,
yeah, that's right. Well,
compared to this movie, Wolf of Wall Street is tight.
Well, because there was a lot of martial arts scenes in the first Raid movie, Devindra, and I would say virtually every single one of them had some kind of purpose for the plot. Not every single one, but virtually every single one had some kind of purpose for the plot. This movie, I agree with you that, maybe there are some scenes that didn't need to be action scenes, but B, you are trying to tell a story that's really has a lot of gravitas and seriousness, but a lot of the violence is cartoonish, right? Like, it is cartoonish in nature, and that's not a knock on the action at all. It's just to say it is wildly over the top, right? It is wildly over the top.
In the best possible way.
In a way that you can enjoy it, but it seems like the movie's tone is a little bit mixed. It is a little bit jumbled.
But I mean, this is a movie where the main bad guy wears sunglasses and gloves,
and uses a cane.
And uses a cane. Yeah, I mean, talk about affectation.
Yeah.
It's like, let's give him 3 instead of 1. So, I mean, while I agree with you that it's trying to be the Godfather in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's trying to be the Godfather of Indonesian action films, basically.
But even as it's sort of fumbling with that, it can't help but be ridiculous. It's even without the action being over the top.
Right.
Just the drama is over the top as well.
But that's the thing, Jeff, is I don't feel like it's supposed to be over the top. Like, I feel like it wasn't intentionally. He like when that guy shows up, Biju or whatever his name is. I don't think you're supposed to laugh at how over-the-top villainous he is. And that's kind of what I think is the only issue I have with the film. I love this movie. Like, it's probably going to be my top 10 of 2014 just because of pure enjoyment while watching it. And, like, some scenes are so violent. Like, I watched it with I actually took a personal day off work so I could go see this film.
Oh, wow.
And I watched it with some critics. It was a daytime screening. And some of the violence is so, like, outrageous that, there's that nervous laughter, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just saw this guy rip out this guy's eye or something. Like, it's so ridiculous. That.
Well, it's in every other movie, when you put the gun right up next to the dude's face, you cut to black and you hear the gunshot. Not in The Raid 2.
That's
no,
right.
sir. You stay right on it.
I mean, the fact of the matter, so my point is just trying to say, like, I love this film, and there's action scenes that have never been attempted before. Like, there's an action scene in a mud pit, and when you see the making of to see how they shot it, it is incredible, right? And so,
which, by the way, generally a bad idea for action scenes. Thinking of like the beginning of Batman
Begins, which
if you don't want everybody to look the same, but somehow I was still able to tell what was going on. During that.
It's amazing. It's amazing how they shoot this, and so. So I love this movie, but I do think his reaches beyond his grasp in this point, right?
I hear you. Like, to your point, I just rewatched The Killer recently, and talk about a movie that balances action with drama, and honestly, a lot of overwrought drama.
Yeah.
But it works. Like, it really balances well. And there's one scene, there's a error. There's like a special effects error in The Killer, in the parking lot scene where there's like it's a car chase and a shootout. And at one point, like I think Chow Yun-fat shoots off a guy's arm. By accident. It's not supposed to be like that, but the dummy's arm just, I guess, blows up because of the squid. And it looks weird, and it takes you out of the movie. And then the next scene, the guy has his arm or something, or like the body has the arm. But you remember that error. I've remembered that error ever since I've been watching this movie on VHS. And it's like, it takes me out of the movie a little because it's like too much for what that movie does. And I do feel like The Raid 2 kind of throws a lot of that at us. and expects us to accept the really heightened drama while at the same time having really crazy, over, super gory violence. And there's a balance. Like, there's a way to balance that out. Honestly, I actually think a lot of the drama in this movie could use a touch of Johnny Toe as well, because I think Gareth Evans, we know he does action very well. We know he does like small scale character stuff, but when it comes to larger scope, when it comes to process work, the whole point of this movie is Rama is supposed to be going undercover. We never see him doing anything undercover. He never actually does his job.
Right.
Because we're moving from fight scene to fight scene. So I think there are a lot of ways, technically, that you could have tightened up this movie.
He does plant something in the worst possible place to plant anything.
It's true. It's very bad. It's not like he's eager to go back home or anything. We could talk about some of the spoilers. But that's one thing that really bothered me. I do love...
Yeah, I mean, Devindra, I think it really comes down to the fact that this movie is 2.5 hours long. And if you're going to be 2.5 hours long, you need to really justify that with some really compelling drama, really. Like, it needs to be really compelling. And I just didn't feel like the mix of overwrought self-seriousness with regards to the gangster segments and with the sort of plethora of characters who you only see a snippet of, combined with the over-the-top cartoonish violence, really made for a cohesive mix. I mean, let's give you another example. Trying not to spoil any set pieces, guys. Towards the end of the film, he faces off with some people that have been built up during the course of the film. Right?
Yeah.
And Batman and MC Hammer.
But we don't we know so little about those characters that they,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that I think all of us are in agreement on the criticisms of this movie, but the bottom line is it doesn't matter.
Sure.
Well, it doesn't matter that those characters don't have names. If you look at, the script or IMDb, those characters' names are Boy and Hammer Girl, I believe. Baseball Batman and Hammer Girl. And that's fine. That's how this genre of movie works. I can accept that. And
again, Jeff, it would be totally fine if the movie wasn't 2.5 hours long. Yeah. That's what I'd say about it.
I agree with you. I think, honestly, The Raid 1 is a better movie. I think it's a much more because of how simple it is. It's just this great exploration of one very simple premise, like cram all these people in one place, see who lives, But I have to also say that as much as I agree with everything you're saying, and it really should have been shorter, and there's sequences where it's like, really, we're gonna slice everybody's neck or whatever. But it doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
I agree.
You have to see this movie if you even remotely like these kind of genre films. It's so overwhelmingly intense in the area that counts, that nothing else matters.
I can agree.
I do feel like fans of action movies, like us, like we love action movies. I grew up watching, Hong Kong action films. I'll eat all of this up. I don't care how long it is. It could have been longer for me. I would have loved to see the extra scenes, even though I also think it would have hurt the narrative a little. But throw anybody else into this movie, like throw a general audience member who maybe didn't grow up watching a ton of action movies. A lot of people get tired watching prolonged action scenes. And there's a reason most movies have like a pacing between like action and maybe a setup and giving you a reason to care about action scenes. And that's something the first movie did a lot better. This one just, I think, goes a little too far.
The Raid 1 is a movie I feel like I could easily recommend to anyone who even passively likes action movies. But I don't think I could recommend the Raid 2 to someone unless they like the Raid 1. Do you know what I mean? Like
really? I feel like there's enough. Your patience is rewarded in this movie. It's like, okay, you might be bored during things, may feel like, oh man, that really should have been cut out, or oh my gosh, that's overwrought. But by the end, you're like, I'm glad I said, you will be rewarded.
Oh yeah, no, I felt it was a totally rewarding experience. I'm just saying, like, of the people I know who watch movies, who have a very diverse set of interests in terms of what they want to see out of movies, I wouldn't feel as comfortable recommending to them this 2.5 hour long gore fest, which I personally loved. But like the Raid 1, it's like, even if you've ever liked an action movie, I think the Raid 1 ultimate, like, easy recommend. Right. But if you are more selective, I don't know that the Raid 2 is gonna be as because honestly, I think a lot of people would find the Raid 2 to be exhausting.
Yeah,
right? And
that's
and
kind
I
of
don't
it.
think they would find the Raid 1 exhausting.
And I think the other thing too, like for me, the Raid 1 was like it sort of mainstreamed a lot of things I always loved about action movies. So it's sort of like what Crouching Tiger did, you know, taking the wuxia genre and taking a lot of things that we've seen before in movies, but kind of distilling it down to something that was almost accessible to anybody. I thought that was kind of fantastic.
Right.
This movie definitely doesn't do that, but I love it for what it did. But yeah, unfortunately, I just feel like it needed some editing, and we should go into spoilers because there are a couple things worth mentioning.
All right.
The other big stylistic difference, though, I would say between this and the Raid 1 is how much more gun fu there was in the first one. This is much more hand-to-hand martial arts movie than the first one, which had a lot of that, but was much more about guns, too.
I would say only the first 30 minutes of the Raid 1 were about guns, and like after the first 30 minutes, it's mostly hand-to-hand. I don't think any guns are used in the last hour of that film. So I agree that there was some gunplay in Raid 1, but mostly it was martial arts. So this just continues that trend, in my opinion. But anyway, I think let's move on to spoilers for the Raid 2 starting right now.
Sure.
Now you're looking for the secret.
You're gonna see this coming.
No,
But you won't find it because, of course,
you're not going to see this coming.
you're not really looking.
I have been puzzling over how it works.
You don't really want to work it out.
I have been dying to tell you.
I want to tell you my secret now.
You want to be fooled.
Poor Rama, guys. Like, this guy, so he went through the whole situation in the first raid. Then he goes here, he gets pulled into this undercover job. His brother gets killed, and he's stuck in jail for 2 years? He's stuck in jail for a while.
What? Why does he put up with that?
He's
He
totally
tells his
fine with it.
He
And
tells
then,
his wife, I'm going to be back in a couple of months. And then it's like 2 years later.
2 years later, I felt so bad for him. And then when he starts
Whose job
saying,
is that? Whose job is go to
It's a
jail for
really
2
shitty job.
years?
it's a really shitty job. But then once he
got
gets
overtime.
once he gets into his undercover, he doesn't do his job. He's like he it feels like we waste a lot of time where I feel like any natural person would be like, oh God, I need to get back to my family. I need to do whatever I need to do to kind of end this. And
Well,
he doesn't.
He does phone them once.
Yeah.
There's a phone call.
There's a phone call.
Of mild caring. You know, he just, what's going on? Let me hear the baby. All right, I'm good. 2 years later.
And by the end of this movie, by the way, Rama is a monster. He is a straight up murderer because of like the crazy shit he had to do to get into jail and the stuff he did afterwards, being part of the underworld. Like this poor guy. Like, I just feel really bad for him as a character.
Yeah, well,
we
I
can
mean,
all
at the
agree
end of the
that
day,
no
he
one-
did wipe out every single major person from that crime syndicate, except for the Japanese.
Yeah. That's not going to come back to bite him in the ass. Yeah.
Those guys made it out there okay.
I mean, this is the kind of thing where in spoilers you could just go, you guys, remember that part when, you know, he did that crazy, remember that other part? It's just one of those movies where you walk out of it with your buddy that you watched it with, and you just talk about, oh my God, that one part where the guy's head bounces off the pavement because he's in a car and he's hanging out of it backwards.
I think there is like the camera work in this movie is insane.
Yeah.
They did some stuff in the first movie. So, for example, there's like a scene in the first raid where this guy like digs a hole in the ground, and the camera follows him down into the hole as he jumps down, and then an action scene begins, and it's one continuous shot.
Although that was much easier because those were consumer grade digital video cameras. Whereas in this movie, he's actually using kind of pro grade stuff.
Right. So, but
yeah.
like there's a shot. I tweeted this GIF recently of like they hand this camera off to this guy inside a car, and then they drop the camera out of a window where there's a guy like outside of the car strapped to the side of the car, like, and just so they'll have the one long continuous shot.
Yeah.
It's amazing some like where they're able to get the camera to and how it's able to move in this movie. Like you'll see some camera work that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
in this film.
it's crazy how subtle it is at times too. There's that opening fight where he's in the bathroom stall, and at points the camera definitely goes like somewhere where it shouldn't, like either above or through the wall. And it's hard to tell, but you can still see the action. But I found it really fun on a technical level.
Oh, and just the choreography of the fights themselves. The camera is as much a member of that choreography plan as anything else. I mean, when you get a head smashed into something, almost every time the camera moves with that smash. It's a dance that includes the camera. It's not just we're watching these two players dance. We are participating as the audience. It's unbelievable.
The
The,
one
the
th-
level of complexity.
The one thing that I just thought was kind of weird was, you know what's interesting is usually they show us the action, but they don't show us the consequences of the action. Like what I mean is like they show us the action. He like take a knife, jab it into someone's leg, and like pull it down and like rip open his leg, right? And usually that's it. Then you see the guy going like, "Oh, my leg," and then you never hear from that guy again. The one thing that I thought was really weird and really disturbing was when he burned that guy's face off on the stove, and they lingered on it for like a good 5 seconds. And I was just, why are you showing me the consequences of this action?
Isn't it funny too how long they lingered on him? The upshot of him pushing the guy's face down. Like, we're on that for an extraordinarily long time. Like, he's
Look
really
at how much of a
burning
monster he is now.
Yeah. It just was really, and he was hurting a cop too. I think was the payoff of that scene. So
oh boy, this movie just kind of confused. And what's also funny that I think that scene reintroduces Rama after he's gone for like a third of the movie. It's just like the movie goes off to the side plots and the other characters, and Rama kind of disappears for a while. It's kind of funny.
Talk about a sprawling film where we get this sort of side story of this sad, badass, homeless man killer. Who, all he wanted to do is just kill people day to day and then
take care of his family. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh man, it's so sad that you can't even be just a regular old homeless assassin anymore.
By the way, his whole death scene, that's one of the things. Like, I really like the idea of trying to add some pathos to this character, but we didn't need the prolonged fight scene for him.
Wait, whose death scene?
The homeless guy. What?
Oh yeah. Oh, that was the worst part of the movie, in my opinion. Was when he met with. He's like there's like baby drama going on with him.
Yeah.
That was so. That was when I like because it plays it completely straight. Right.
Yes.
That's when I like started getting a feeling like, oh, what this movie's trying to do is beyond what I think it can accomplish.
Yes.
Really. That
Although,
scene. Yeah.
I will argue for the baby drama scene because I think it is interesting. Like these assassins, these people, they have lives.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a really realistic depiction of assassins' lives.
It's more like it was kind of Tarantino-esque. I just found it kind of fun. But by the time, then you set up his whole death scene, and then he gets betrayed, and then that's a big fight scene. I feel like you could have ended that with, this sad portrait of like a guy who clearly had this relationship with his boss for a while. Like, he is the guy, he calls for immediate assassinations, and then he gets killed in a really brutal way. But it didn't have to be like it was like a 5 or 10 minute fight scene. It's just one of those things. I feel like it would have been more effective.
It's hilarious to me that we first meet that character and establish him as a monster.
Yes.
He's a monster. He is the most fearful creature, like the way he looks, and that he just stalks those people, and he pulls out this insane machete and then proceeds to not use it to kill so many people. Like, he just mows down people without even having to bother to use his machete, and then after having established him as the like nightmare of the darkness, we then go, you know what? He don't get no respect. He's a sad dad who
he's late on his alimony. Really,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
he's in a fancy restaurant looking like a bum.
Yeah,
it's audacious.
It's a little bit. Yeah, it just feels like the movie. It honestly felt a little bit like that scene. And again, I love Raid 2, right? But it felt like that scene in Boogie Nights when Burt Reynolds is looking at that action movie they've created, and he's like, dude, we've made a real film here. It felt like they're trying to make a real film, and it's like, that part is not working. Like, you don't, they
definitely could have cut that character entirely.
Yeah, that character, well, not entirely, because you need,
that could have been done in another way.
They think that's going to be the precipitating incident, and it's not, right? Because the father is too under control of what's going on. So the only other thing that I was confused about is like Julia Estelle, who is apparently she's a really well-known model and actress in Indonesia. I thought it would have been awesome if this movie had kind of like discovered her, but no, she already has like 1 million Twitter followers or something ridiculous like that. So
Hammer Girl's just her side gig,
Yeah, Hammer Girl's just her side gig. There's this reveal that she's blind in one eye. I didn't understand what the significance of that was. Was that supposed to be Like, is it just like, oh, she's really badass even with one eye? Like, what?
I think it's just one of those things. Because baseball Batman, isn't he deaf as well? Or
Well, one
no?
of them is deaf because they talk in sign language or
Yes,
something.
yes. Baseball Batman is deaf. Yes. But also, what's up with that? By the way, well, nobody ever gives him the ball back. He's so pissed about it.
Yeah, you'd think after the fifth guy he's killed, he would understand that they're not going to give him the ball back. But maybe it's just like Samuel L. Jackson with the Ezekiel verse. Like, it's just something he does before he murders someone, right?
And I think, by the way, with these two characters, that's the point where you realize this movie is just operating in a weird-ass comic book universe, because there are better ways to take people out than, like, hoping this baseball actually hits them in the head, although that shows how awesome they are. Hammer Girl, you know, there are more efficient ways to get this job done. There are more efficient weapons out there.
Okay, here's the ultimate conflict, Devindra, is that assassins are typically well known for being inconspicuous and quiet, right? Like, when you think of like, oh man, that person's such an amazing assassin, it's like, in fact, there was like a study recently, I think, about assassins, right? And like how they typically operate. And at the end of the study, they acknowledged, hey, all the details of this study might be in question because really the best assassins are those that you don't even know that they actually are assassins and they actually killed these people. Right? Yeah. Those are the best assassons.
Until they show up at their high school reunions. And,
why did we come to this assassin convention? It was clearly right.
You know what I mean? Like, those are the best assassins. So the idea that these people would be like well regarded as assassins is kind of ridiculous because they make a huge show out of killing people, right?
I mean, the whole point of those two people was to make them special because they're bosses. They're the sub bosses that he has to get through to get to the main boss in the video game convention that is the end of this movie. You know?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, what did you think of that end scene where just everyone? So what wasn't clear to me, by the way, was at the end when the son character he sees the same tattoo on Biju's wrist as he saw on the earlier guy who Biju offered up to be killed, and then for some reason he thinks, well, that means that Biju is not on the up and up, and so he decides to murder.
I think that what first of all, I wasn't clear as to whether Rama planted that device in his wallet so that he would find it.
No, I think that was unintentional. Like
that was him being a great detective. Yeah,
I mean that was but clearly that's what pissed him off the most is that he sees that and thinks that he's being betrayed by his co-conspirators.
Yeah, maybe. No, that's right. That's how I interpret it. Yeah.
Ram is really operating at a level beyond the.
Yeah, right. He's thinking 2 steps ahead. Really,
because who puts a freaking tracer in the one place that you always look? Like, you always look in your wallet. Like that's I don't. So I thought, oh, well, maybe that's what he did. He knew that the guy would see it and think he was being spied on by his...
But Rama clearly uses the tracer, though. Like,
yes.
He uses it. We see him listening in on conversations with the tracer. So
it's very confusing. Like, the wallets have so many other pockets. Put it in the little, like, inside pocket that nobody ever uses.
He got a really great sound of his ass as well. I mean, that's where you want to put a sound device is in the butt.
So then the guy realizes he's being betrayed, and then just offs everyone, right?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, how did you feel about that ending? I thought it was a little bit anticlimactic.
I don't think he thought through his plan, but
right? Like it just is like after all of that stuff that Rama went through, at the end of the day, he didn't even really do anything to cause the end of this crime syndicate.
He didn't really do his job.
Although he apparently he partnered with the Japanese to bring them down in some way. But really, like the Japanese,
you're just perpetuating the dirtiness of the police force. Like that's what the whole first movie was about.
I didn't think that he partnered with the Japanese. I thought that at the end, the Japanese came to him and said, "Oh, thanks for taking out those guys. You want to be on our team?" And then he goes, "No."
My understanding is he partnered with the Japanese because there's a scene in the bathroom earlier when he gets a phone call, and I believe that was from the Japanese.
So, I thought that was every phone call he got. I always thought was from that dude who is the worst cop boss ever.
The guy who, like, the IA guy who just offed the corrupt cop in the opening scene, right?
He offed the corrupt cop, and his whole plan is infiltrate these guys. Okay, you're going to go to jail for 2 years. We're going to have no contact with you whatsoever. But after that, super awesome stuff, dude. Get on it.
Don't worry about your family. Don't worry about your infant child.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's what I thought it was weird. He was getting a phone call from the Japanese, not the cop earlier. And so it was like they had partnered. They had some kind of agreement in some way. And I mean, yeah, it is kind of ambiguous. The closing scene is the cop driving to go meet him. The Japanese are already there.
Back to your point, I have no idea what seeing the same tattoo meant. No idea.
I think that was the revelation that the guy that Bijou gave him earlier, where he said he captured him from jail, and that whole storyline. That was all set up to basically force us into action. That was the point where bad guy realizes that he's being played.
That would also explain why those guys just sat there while their throats were slit.
Well, and he has like this very significant eye contact that's made right before he dies.
Yes. So
like,
clearly that was important.
Right. So maybe, there's something going on there. In any case,
it was planned from the beginning, and the stupid evil son was just too dumb to see it. I feel really bad for his dad, by the way, because clearly this is a guy. He was a guy who saw some shit, and he didn't be a young whippersnapper. He wanted to manage his crime syndicate like a gentleman, and clearly that takes experience. And I actually felt really sad watching his dumbass son try to rip it all to shreds, clearly being set up to be betrayed too.
Well, the thing with the movie is, you can make a movie that has amazing action and is also an epic crime drama.
Right.
And you can even have some of the over-the-top violence in it too, but you could have, for example, taken the time from action scenes into building up the relationship between that son and his father, for example, right? You could have, as opposed to he gets home from jail and 10 minutes later, he's already too big for his britches. Do you know what I mean? At the same time, though, we love this movie because it has so much amazing action. So it is a difficult trade-off to make. I don't know that the movie quite struck the right balance, but it is nonetheless a movie that's worth seeing. It's must-see if you're an action fan, and that we all enjoyed. So, any other thoughts before we wrap things up, guys?
I mean, we didn't really go into too much detail in the scenes, but I think the one thing that I thought was crazy awesome, and it makes me love the way Gareth Evans thinks, is during the car chase, the cop has to reload his gun, and just the way he does that. Yeah. It's a quick thing, but it's so badass. It made me kind of. It felt like it redeemed some of the less worthy action from the movie. But it's that sort of thing. That's why I love Gareth Evans.
Yeah, he's amazing. I mean, I can't wait to see his new movie with Timo. So,
yeah.
All right, guys, that's going to bring us to the end of this bonus episode. And Jeff, why don't you just tell us where we can find more of your work?
Easiest way is to follow me on Twitter. It's at Jeff Kanata with 2 N's and 1 T. And my website is jeffkanata.com.
All right. And let's just wrap it up there. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you guys later.